Hello again. Okay, so I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop on Vegas Matt's extraordinary campaign to get me booted off YouTube. So I guess it's not another shoe; it's a boot, isn't it? Extraordinary, really. I can't really guess why he would attack me using copyright strikes on material that, in at least one case, is nearly 2 years old, but I guess he's got to do what he can to shut me down. And I think it's more than likely because I'm spending a lot of time and effort pointing out to people that what he's doing basically is a con trick. It's not just him; it's everybody who's pretending to be winning and losing money that matters to them when in fact, whatever they lose is just an overhead. It's just a cost of doing business because their losses will be more than covered by the money that they make from YouTube, from Google, from ad revenue, from Moogle, as I like to call the cash cow. And so I think that's what it's about. This is a guy who is used to people kissing his ass. He's constantly being swamped with praise, adulation, comps, free this, free that. He's made millions from the deal that he struck with the casinos that he works with, and he's made it clear in several interviews that he really does want to own a casino of his own because he likes all the extra perks that come with it. I mean, never mind the comps that he gets and the promotional chips and the free meals, the free rooms, the free whatever. What he wants is the profit from all the extras, the rooms, the fancy restaurants, the shops, etc., etc. He's on record as saying all that, so I'm not suggesting anything that he hasn't said himself. And it really does tend to kind of indicate exactly where. Sorry, I had to make a little bit of a cut there because I guess my heart must be beating a little faster than usual because I'm talking about something that really pisses me off. But hey, like I say, this is a guy who he's got an ego the size of this casino that I've built for him, or that AI has built for him, and he really wants to make as much money as he can out of the gambling business, and he certainly won't make it at slot machines or table games. The thing that I found extraordinary is that I started describing him and his imitators as professional losers last year, about I don't know, less than a year ago, probably 6 months ago. It just amused me because they are professional losers. It's their game. Their game is to create exciting content with them winning and losing huge amounts of money. But whatever they lose, they don't give a shit about because it's going to come back to them from Google and other sources, selling merchandise to people daft enough to pay, sort of $35 for a T-shirt just because it's got Vegas Matt's name on it. All of this is absolutely encouraged in the American economy, just as the American economy pretends that gambling is actually making a useful contribution to society as a whole. And of course, it's not. It creates crime. It creates suicides, it creates broken homes, it creates situations where kids are deprived of their college funds because dad or mum has gone off to the casino and blown it all. There's just so much crap that comes out of too accessible, legalized gambling, which the politicians, who you have to think are probably getting something back for their support, the politicians pretend is actually good for the local economies, the society as a whole, for the well-being of people in America and around the world. And of course, it's all utter nonsense. And I know what I'm talking about because I lived in Nevada for a long time. I gambled in Nevada. I'm as stupid as anybody else when it comes to trying to beat the casinos. And actually, I did very nicely. What I didn't make at the tables, I made at sports betting because I used an algorithm for that as well. All this emotional nonsense about getting excited about a particular game, it's stupid. It's just as daft as getting excited about an individual hand at blackjack or baccarat. You have to know it's a long game. It needs to be properly financed. It has to be run as a business, and betting the way that Vegas Matt does, and all the other guys who are slipstreaming him, the Mr. Handpays and others, betting like that is just madness. It is absolute madness, unless of course you've got a big check coming in at the end of the month from Moogle. So that's how it is. The last time that Vegas Matt sort of showed his true colours, I think, was when one of his former friends, I guess he must be by now, Jason Bulkey, Mr. Handpay, pointed out that a lot of people who are promoting online casinos, which of course Vegas Matt does very enthusiastically, FanDuel and something else with a name that I keep forgetting, I don't know why, are not playing with real money. And of course that is the case, presumably because they have absolutely no connection with the money. They just sit there and they play, usually with Vegas Matt and friends. It's like 4 of them, usually the whole group, but sometimes they have a guest coming in, and they have no connection with the money. What's it called? Concord or Ripoff or something like that. Anyway, there's FanDuel and one other one. And of course they get all this money from merchandise and blah, 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 And the pretense that Matt does try and once in a while to put across that he actually makes money at gambling, well, it's bollocks, absolute bollocks. There was one interview that Matt did with his boy a while ago, in which again he said that he wanted to own a casino. He thought that was the way to go in his business career, But he said that I think it was 70% of their revenue comes from sources other than gambling, 30% comes from merchandise, 0% comes from winnings. And I interrupted myself there because, as I said, I started about 6 or 8 months ago to start describing these guys as professional losers, which they are. And miraculously, all of a sudden, Vegas Matt and the team went from being $500,000 in the hole, which I think was around sort of September, October time, to in credit for the year. And this year, 2026, going forward, again, they're making money. And they managed it with something truly miraculous. 3 6-figure wins at slot machines, right? I think 240,000, 220,000, and one of 400,000, something or other. And, if you believe that, then, well, it's the old joke about the Brooklyn Bridge, isn't it? So there you have it. I'm waiting still for Vegas Matt to shut me down. Knowing YouTube, they know which side their bread is buttered, so they're not going to stand up for somebody whose subscriber base is, what about, is it 15,000 or is it 150,000 less than Vegas Matt's? No, I think I've got one subscriber to every 15,000 of his. So, YouTube isn't going to stand up for truth and honesty and all that sort of boring shit. They're just going to, kick me off the platform, and I'll find something else to do to annoy Vegas Matt. I can promise you that. All right, then. So King John and I are not on the same page once again, and that's fine. He says he broke even in this session, and he has a stack of chips in front of him that suggests that he ain't too badly off. I think if each one of those is 10,000, but that basically puts him in a kind of odd situation with the current session, because I track his bets very, very carefully, because what's the point otherwise? And I've got him down at least $2,500, but that's okay. He's probably right and I'm probably wrong, but I think it's worth looking at the facts, the numbers, and anytime anybody wants to challenge me, including John himself, if he wants to, let's talk about it. Because all I'm here to do is to say, look, if you bet the way these guys do, flat or randomly, all over the place, emotionally, just missing great opportunities, and then bending over and taking a hammering that just wasn't necessary, then you're going to lose money. And I don't think that it's right for people to be bamboozled this way. But that's just me. It's John's choice here, and it's the choice of people watching these things or not, to take it or leave it. That's all I can say, really. Okay, so the one thing that you have to say for King John, the greatest blackjack player in the history of the game, uh, he is at least consistent. At this time, he actually, if he'd only played his left hand first base bets, he would have had a teeny weensy house advantage, 0.6%. He blew that into a negative 2% with his extra bets, these multi bets of his that he loves to do from time to time, and which in pretty much every session, but he'd just kill him. This time was no exception. Let's go down to the bottom here and have a look. He won 2,250 over here with his first base bets, in other words, the left-hand bets. I ignore the others when I'm pitting the pattern betting algorithm against him, but of course I add them into his record when I'm looking at exactly what happened to John in his latest session. Okay, had to pause a moment there for the usual reason. He's like I say, he's very consistent. His action was enormous. His total action was 140,500 on all his bets, and he lost 5,000 on the extras. I keep trying to hint to him and to anybody else who uses them, including Degen Dot, that spreading out to more than one bet is just it's just manna from heaven for the casinos, because the odds are in their favor on every bet, and so the more you put down, the better off they are. So far, since I've been tracking him, and it's now 4,354 bets, extras, multis, more than one bet has cost him an additional 53,550. So he's basically right up shit creek with that idea. He did manage to achieve a higher average win value than average loss value, but it wasn't any help to him because he was so close. 116% is not good enough anyway. But he had only just two more losses than wins. So none of that was any help to him at all. He should have won 857. He actually said at the end of the session that he said we're 10,000 ahead, and he was saying he was 10,000 ahead of Red Rock at the start of the session. So I guess that means that in his book he broke even. I don't agree with him on that, and I am very careful about how I transcribe his bets. So all I can do is just say, all right, well, there's a difference between us here, and I'm obviously inclined to come down on his side because it's his money. He should know what he's talking about, but I just can't make my numbers match his. It's that simple. Anyway, let's go up and see how pattern betting did. The algorithm, that is, and I want to stress, I never change. I don't do anything to the algorithm. I don't change it. I don't muck about with it. I just leave it to get on with it. And here we have a big difference. Pattern betting did this year. It won 4,625 on action. That was let's see, John's was 145,000. So, I mean, you do the math. It was about 1/6 of John's total action. And this is, sort of one of the frustrations of trying to demonstrate this betting strategy to you folks. I have so many people telling me, "Whoa, bet's too big. No, 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 too dangerous. Nobody can do that. Nobody can afford to bet that way." And of course, people who can afford to bet that way are doing it all the time. John just bet 145,000 in the same number of hands as I've got here, and he lost. And I bet quite a bit less than, or Algie. Let's give him his due. Algie bet quite considerably less than a sixth of John's total. I mean, it's actually about a seventh, and produced a 19.8% win, and that is sort of a hold. The total win being 4,625, action being 23,300. That's a 20% hold, folks. Worth having, I think. But all I can do with these demos is to just say to you, take it or leave it, believe it or not. I've got no control over any of that stuff. I do know that that John is doomed. He insists that he's a lifetime winner everywhere he's ever played. He insists that in the current visit to Las Vegas, which he now tells us was like 2 months ago, he's ahead 10,000. But I just don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, this is unfair, this result up here, because it involves other players as well. But, that's neither here nor there. What I'm concerned about is individual sessions. So I'm presenting you with individual sessions of John's and saying, hey, you could do better than him. And that's all I can do. I mean, it's up to you folks, whether you pay any attention or not, whether you care or not. Most people don't give a damn about little details like, the numbers behind these games and so on. But I think you've got a fairly dramatic contrast here between what happened to John and what happened to pattern betting, and make of it what you will. But I'm telling you, you bet flat or you bet randomly, and you are screwed. Okay, so quickly, apologies once again for my lack of perfectness. What I was trying to do with the Sirasani sessions is to make sure that when I'm on his tab, his page, the online reality page, that I add where pattern betting's algorithm was in comparison to where he got to, against exactly the same outcomes every damn time, exactly the same outcomes, meaning that, of course, obviously Algie has to accept all his mistakes. The one thing that Algie does not do is bet his silly extras, his multis, so they're not in the picture, but just betting the left-hand bets, the first base bets, that's the difference. There's the algorithm, Algie, and there's King John. And I'll leave it to you to decide which is the better of the two. I've made my choice, but up to you, isn't it?